Hello, all. I found another gem, but this time it was not on Tubi. I actually heard of it through another YouTube video, and it's called Latitude Zero. It's from 1969. I never even heard of it before I saw that video. It's a co-U.S. Japanese production. It was directed by the great Ishiro Honda of Toho Studios, which is the man who brought us Godzilla, amongst other things, and it stars, surprisingly, Joseph Cotten, Cesar Romero, Richard Jaekel, Linda Haynes, all American actors, and also Akita Takarada, um, Masumi Okata, Tetsuo Nakamura, Nakayama, and in a very important role, a lady named Hikaru Kuroki. Uh, and it's really silly. It's like a complete wild, wacky adventure, science fiction, crazy kind of like Jules Verne kind of thing. That's way over the top. It's really, really funny, and it's also really good. And everything is good. The special effects are good. The costumes are good. The lighting is good. Everything. The special effects were done by Eiji Tsuruya. And I think he did a couple of other, of the Honda films too, including I think Atragon. Really some good stuff. It's about there are these people on a diving bell who are going down to explore the sea bottom, and including a journalist played by Richard Jaekel, who's called. He's kind of a braggart kind of character too. What's his name? Perry Lawton is his name in the movie, and a couple of geologists played by Akita Takarada, who plays a guy named Ken Tashiro, and Masumi Okata, who's Dr. Jules Mason, and they're going down in this diving bell, and they're caught in a very strange freak. One thing they notice: all the fish are swimming only in one direction. They're all swimming from right to left, and they can't figure out why. And then all of a sudden they're caught in an underwater eruption of a very large undersea volcano, and the cable to their diving bells is severed, and they're rolling around, and Dr. Mason is hurt. They're all knocked out, and later you see a couple of divers in the water, and in diving suits, and they look inside the diving bell, and they see the men inside, and they attach the cable to another, like a rope, and there's a submarine waiting above them, and they pull them up into the submarine and take off. The men wake up, and they're surprised that they're not injured anymore, and the person who greets them, the doctor, is a gorgeous blonde who was played by Linda Haynes, and they pull her. She says that she's a doctor, and that they're on board the Alpha, and they say, "What's the Alpha?" She says, "Well, when you're feeling better, come to the cabin, and we'll explain." Well, they come to the cabin. They're given clothing, and they meet this guy named Craig McKenzie, who is played by Joseph Cotten, and he's a sort of a more genteel kind of Captain Nemo character. He claims he's not from any country. He's a neutral, and he's aboard this very sophisticated submarine called the Alpha, and there's a plaque in the Alpha that says this is the Alpha, launched in 1805 from the Hebrides. And they're like, "What?" And he says, "This says to Mackenzie, this is a joke, isn't it?" Says, "What do you mean a joke?" He says, "It says it's launched here. This ship was launched in 1805, and that would make you over 200 years old." He said, "That's right, I am." And he says, "And my associate, he has a Japanese kind of a co-pilot. Says he's over 200 years old too. But I also have an enemy, and his name is Malik, and we went to school together, and he's 203." And they're like, "Oh, come on!" They don't believe any of this. Well, they're pursued as they're going to some place called, quote unquote, Latitude Zero, and we don't know yet what Latitude Zero is. But initially the Alpha had been assigned to study this undersea volcano, and the character played by Linda Haynes, or a doctor or something or other, says that Dr. Mason is still hurt, and they don't have the facilities to heal him on board the ship. They have to take him back to quote unquote LZ, abbreviation for Latitude Zero. But they're being pursued by another submarine called the Black Shark, which is piloted by the very beautiful Japanese lady Hikaru Kuroki as Kuroiga, I think her name is Kuroiga. And she is the subaltern of this evil genius Malik, who is played by Cesar Romero, and Dr. Malik, I should say. And Malik has ordered her to destroy Mackenzie, and she's pursuing him this very cool submarine, even though it's quite obviously a model, but it's very cool, I thought, because it's actually shaped like a shark. It's got fins, it's got all kinds of weapons, it's got torpedoes, it's got a laser cannon, it's got heat-seeking missiles, and because he's just such a superior pilot, that the Alpha does not have any weapons. It has no offensive capability whatsoever. It can only outrun, or it can go up to 80 knots underwater, which is pretty impressive above water. It's almost impossible underwater, but apparently it's that much more technically advanced. And basically, Mackenzie has to outmaneuver all these weapons, which he does. And they eventually come to this sort of a barrier, and he has his Japanese co-pilot turn on a force field, and it envelops the Alpha, and they're able to penetrate through this sort of blue dome. Well, the Black Shark can't do that. The Black Shark doesn't have this energy field, so it's repelled from the dome, and they can't pursue Mackenzie any further. And Malik is very upset. He's upset with Kuriga, and she's upset as well. But they go into this Latitude Zero, and there's a whole basically artificial world. It's lit by an artificial sun, and it looks like something out of Mediterranean Europe. And there's all different sort of architectural styles and different people. And one of the things that they discover is that a number of scientists and medical people, engineers, people in all fields of science who are thought to have died or disappeared are actually there. They're actually in Latitude Zero. They are not political. They don't have any specific politics. They don't have any weapons, and there's no animosity. There's no money, either, and they don't, want for anything. They have all the food they want and all the exercise, and they're basically free to do whatever they wish. They make their clothing out of gold, which they mine out of seawater, because it's durable and they don't have to wash it, and that makes a certain amount of sense. And they also have something called the Bath of Immunity, which once you dip yourself into it, you can't be harmed by bullets or knives or any kind of weapon. And they have all sorts of sophisticated machinery, and they're working to the benefit of mankind, but they won't reveal themselves because they're afraid that people would try to take advantage of them. One of the subplots that develops, Malik has this, along with his evil cohort Lucretia, who is played by Patricia Medina, a very good role, and she really plays it well. She chews the scenery quite a bit, as does Cesar Romero in his own inimitable style. Nobody else can chew scenery like Cesar Romero, but he's way over the top with this mad scientist, Dr. Malik, who does these crazy things. Like he transforms human beings into animals by transplanting their brains. And the scenes of him doing this are really funny because it's obviously done with like puppets and men in suits. It's really, really bad. But again, it's kind of interesting. He's like, Dr. Moreau in the H.G. Wells story, trying to transform men into animals, basically. And so that's one of the subplots. And of course, Malik wants to get Mackenzie out of the way, because what he really wants to do is he wants to kidnap this Japanese scientist, Dr. Okata, because Dr. Okata has developed an antidote to radiation, and anybody who takes this antidote can't be harmed by radiation. And any nation who had this could, survive a nuclear war, and the opposite side wouldn't because they don't have it. So he wants it for himself so he can sell it to the highest bidder. Well, despite Mackenzie's best efforts to protect him, he has a whole agency, basically, of these agents who operate throughout the world and protect these people, and also recruit, scientists who want to defect, not to any specific country, but to Latitude Zero, make sure they get there safely. And he is trying to protect Dr. Okata and his daughter, Suruko, and they are on a ship bound for, it's going to go to Hawaii, Honolulu, and then to San Francisco. Well, that ship's intercepted by the Black Shark, and they are kidnapped, and this time the captain, Kuroki, is successful and takes them back to Malik on his particular island fortress, which is called Blood Rock, and again, hidden from the world. And he has his secret laboratory where he's doing all these insane experiments. He's creating Batmen that are literally, gigantic bats with men's brains. And again, they look really goofy. There's some really goofy character effects. And I noticed all the monster roars are Godzilla's roar, so which was patented, by the way. So obviously, and Ishiro Honda owns the patent, so he could use it as much as he wanted to. But they kidnap the scientist and his daughter, and they expose them to a couple of these Batmen who are caged up. But he says, if you don't tell me the secret of the formula, I'm going to let them get to you. And says, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And they're being, very, I'm not going to give it to anybody specifically in the world. You'll never get it out of me. He says, oh yes, I will. And he makes them watch an operation where he takes a lion, has it anesthetized, and then brings it into his laboratory, and this lion is obviously a guy in a suit. It looks like a puppet. It's really bad. But he removes his brain and puts Kuroiga's brain in it, and then he cuts off he has a vulture anesthetized, cuts off the vulture's wings and transplants them onto the lion. So now it's a flying lion, and he also has a serum that'll make it 3 times its normal size. Again, completely wacky, over-the-top stuff. No explanation of how any of this stuff works, or how he's able to do it. But again, Romero plays it with complete, sincerity and complete over-the-top, mad scientist. He's going laughing, just way completely nuts. Now he thinks he's got a Kuroki who is now the brain of a lion. Brain is in the body of a lion with wings, and that he can command her and make her kill Mackenzie, who's coming to rescue Dr. Okata, which is what he wanted. He wanted him to come rescue him so he can get him, and come into my parlor, kind of thing. And hilarious and interesting hijinks result because these people have been put in the bathroom. They can't be killed by bullets or knives. And one thing that I kind of found interesting, again, this was made in 1969. There's a scene where Malik is trying to kill Mackenzie, and he plunges at him with a knife. He's going to stab him with it, and instead he stabs his partner, Lucretia, and says, "Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that." And I thought that was kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a reflection on Elric, because in Michael Moorcock's Elric series, Elric is trying to kill Yirkun with Stormbringer, and Yirkun shoves his beloved Simoral onto Stormbringer's blade instead. And of course, Elric accidentally kills her, just as Malik accidentally kills Lucretia, which has some interesting consequences. Anyway, they outfight Malik, but he escapes, and they beat off they kill all his Batman. They got these gloves that has one finger is an anesthetic, another finger shoots a flamethrower, and the other one's a laser, and they shoot down all the Batmen with the lasers and kill them. But Malik escapes, and so now they have to go after him. They laser open the door that he's locked and chase after him across this blood rock, and he's got the Black Shark waiting off the shore, and now he's commanding it, and they go aboard the Alpha, which has had some modifications that we don't know what the modifications were yet. They have to pursue him. They bring back Dr. Okata and Suruko, and put them on the Alpha. And he tells the Linda Haynes character, Malik tells her, there's there's a plateau under this area. I want you to go under there and take the ship down, and I'm gonna go and try to get, pursue Malik, and if I'm not back, don't wait for me, kind of thing. And anyway, they're being pursued now by Malik in the black shirt. He's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. One is that he has a magnetic field that pulls them against this rock, and they can't escape it. But again, Mackenzie has another trick up his sleeve. And Joseph Cotten is great in this. He plays the character totally straight, and yet he's kind of a wild combination of like Doc Savage, Buckaroo Banzai, kind of character who is, always has something up his sleeve. And the next thing he has is the modifications that he had made to the Alpha when they came into the LZ. He has now equipped it with special bow planes and a different motor so it can fly. And as Malik is closing in on them with the black shark, and he's going to shoot him up with the laser cannon, all of a sudden the Alpha takes off into the atmosphere, and they're missing him. And then, just at that moment when Malik kind of thinks he has him, the lion, which is now Quiroga, attacks the black shark and starts smashing it with her claws, and reaches into the conning tower and pulls Malik out and basically eats him. So, she got her revenge for his turning her into a lion. I thought that was great. And then the black shark explodes, and then, of course, in this kind of movie, the bad guy's island always has a self-destruct mechanism, and that happens, and the whole island explodes. And that was great. And then the last thing you see is it's in the LZ, and the Richard Jaekel character, Perry Lawton, wants to go back to the surface world. Dr. Okada is not going back, and the other two, Dr. Ken Tsukuda is not coming back, and of course Jules Mason has fallen in love with Linda Haynes, and he's not going back either. He's going to stay with her. And but Richard Jaekel wants to go back, Perry Lawton, I should say, and he asks Mackenzie if he can take some diamonds with him, because diamonds are common there. They don't use them for abrasives. They don't use them for, like I said, they don't have any money. They don't have any reason to have money, because they have everything they want. Good health. They can restore people who are sick. They can live extremely long lives. I don't think they were immortal, but they're very long life. Oh, I told you something interesting happened with Lucretia. When they're leaving the laboratory, she literally crumbles into dust. So apparently she was very, very, very old. And I thought that was interesting. Good special effect, too, by the way. And Mackenzie says, yes, you can take some diamonds. And he stuffs a little, like a coin purse full of about 500 or 600 diamonds, and zips it up. And then he has taken photographs of everything, all the people and the buildings and the things that he saw, the things that happened in Dr. Malik's laboratory and everything, so he can prove this story, because he's a journalist. He wants to make money off this. So the last thing is he is on a raft, and he's discovered by a U.S. Navy destroyer that has come into the area because they're waiting for a spacecraft to splash down. And looks like one of the early Mercury spacecraft. And they see him, and they pick him up on the raft, and he tells them their story, and they don't believe a word of it. And he said, well, you don't have to believe me. I got photographs. Well, they bring the photographs back, and they're all blank. And he said, well, I can still prove it. And the funny thing, the captain of this ship is, again, played by Joseph Cotten, but now he's a modern military officer. He's not named Craig Mackenzie. He's named Commander Glenn Mackenzie. He says, but you look exactly like this character I was talking about, Mackenzie. He said, well, I don't have any ancestors named Craig Mackenzie, and that I know of. And then he the other thing is that his second in command, his executive officer, is played by Cesar Romero, and he doesn't believe the story either, and the film comes back, it's all blank, like I said, and he says, wait, I can still prove it. He's got the bag of diamonds, he opens it up, there's only dirt, and he said, I don't understand, there were diamonds in here, I swear to God. And before they're gonna take him down to the below decks, because they have to recover the spacecraft, and they say, you can stay here until we recover the craft, and then we'll take you back wherever you want to go, to New York. And he says, well, you got a cable from New York. He says, an unknown source says they've deposited $6,000 worth of diamonds into your account, and they'll be ready for you when you return to New York. And he seems like shocked, but he's also kind of like, see, I told you. And they take him back, below deck, and that kind of the end. I thought that was really good. It was a really interesting movie. Some of the model work is a little bit cheesy, even by 1960s standards, but a lot of it is really quite good. The model of the Alpha was good. The model of the Black Shark was really good. The island was excellent. There's a lot of matte paintings and the buildings that were just still photographs. They didn't show a lot of interiors. A lot of it was just exteriors. But there were some, and there were the ones that they do have were good. Like in the Healing Institute, they have like a machine that looks kind of like a bio bed from Star Trek. It's really quite good. The costuming was good. The lighting, the special effects, the sound, all really excellent. Again, Latitude Zero from 1969. If you can find it, I had to find it on OKRU because it's not available on YouTube or Tubi. But it's really good, and I highly recommend it. Tremendous fun. Cheesy, silly, goofy, but great performances, and really quite worth watching.